Kiwanis Activity Center. Kiwanis Club of Ann Arbor, started in 1921. Let me interfere with your work there. This is the menswear department. Here's the book department.
Put it on Harry or something.
Yeah.
Beyond that?
I don't think so.
He was an architect, right? Or he is an
I
architect?
don't know. I really don't know, but I'm not aware of anything else. I mean, I might be wrong, but...
So you've read that Phantom Poet?
No, actually, I haven't.
Really?
No, not one that...
Spectacular.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a classic that we have, but it just one, I think, having not been brought up on this side of the that. And then, yeah, I
Now, I want the commercial for Nicola,
Oh.
for the Nicholas, the Little Professor bookstores.
That's me.
That's you, and I enjoy hearing it every time I hear it on Wham Radio.
That's right, yes. That's a very good radio station.
Oh
for
yeah,
me.
have it on all the time.
Yeah, no, that works very well.
And you have a new store out at on the
On
east
Plymouth
side,
Road, yes.
no, the northeast
Plymouth and
side.
Nixon, yep.
Going all right?
Slowly, got to get
Well,
more people to come in.
Hey, it takes time to
Yeah,
build.
it does, it does.
No,
Can I
that's
buy
great.
something today that matches my stuff at school?
Oh sure, if match your stuff at school, you can buy
It's not
anything you
price.
want.
Give me a quarter. There's another one,
It's a good thing
Cindy.
you-
Where are you teaching?
I'm counseling again at Summerfield. Yeah.
Public
Yeah.
school. Not a chart.
No.
This is what you call a well-organized rummage sale. And on the floor beneath us is all the furniture and large goods. And then out in the back room we have all the mattresses and bed springs and all the big things, the yard furniture, lawn equipment. A big deal. This club realizes over $200,000 a year in income from our, quote, rummage sales. We prefer to have it just known as a Kiwanis sale instead of a Kiwanis rummage sale.
Happy Valentine's Day. Yes. You look happy. Oops. 2000, and I just lost your heads on this thing. And we're at the downtown Kiwanis building.
There won't be 2,000 till the end of the year.
Oh, there's one of the real millenniumer. And Mom, you came to hold Dorothy's hand. Dorothy, you came to hold Bob's hand, and I came to be the photographer.
Oh, we are?
I'm practicing. Yep. Yep, just practicing. We've got some early birds here.
They put on WJR.
Oh, I'm so
Oh,
glad.
it's going to be on Ted Heisel.
Yeah, give a picture of the man taking attendance.
It'll be on Ted Heisel.
Yep. You don't take attendance? Okay. All right. And here's Dad's, one of the original 4 inductees of the Hall of Honor. And
Right. 1985.
1980, 1985. Which one's yours, Dad? Right up there.
Ashley Clay, Jim O'Kane.
The original 4 Kiwanis Hall of Honor. Great.
F. Hickson Fellowship honorees. You can give $1,000 to the Kiwanis Foundation in honor of someone. All of these people have had $1,000 given to the Kiwanis to give them become a Hickson Fellowship honoree.
Is that a state? National?
National.
National.
That's national.
Something fairly new, it looks like.
Yeah, some of the original ones were done by the club, and then individuals have done it for
For other people. Yeah. So Ron Wolf and Tex Colvin. And Don Olson and Bob Nichols were the originals.
I would say that they were put in by the club.
Yeah, because
And of course, Elizabeth Mammal was done
right,
by her husband,
right.
and Amanda Jane Kitchens by
By Lloyd.
Lloyd,
Yeah.
Bliss,
And-
Dale Leslie.
Right. Yeah.
James J. O'Kane Archives for the Kiwanis Club of Ann Arbor, Michigan. And Jim was one of the original founders of the club. And these are just some pictures of activities that we take part in, have in the past taken part in. Yeah, come right in, be on film. Welcome.
Is this an
Nice to see you.
intellectual?
Yes, no, we're putting this down for history so I can tell the people in
He can show his
what it's
Florida
like.
group.
Very good. That's great. It's a good idea.
Here's paper. They used to sell newspapers out on the street to raise money. Hello, Henry. And these are all the presidents. This is the president's wall. Starts with the first president of the club back in 1921 and goes right up through to the present.
And where's you? Where are you?
Right there. Oh, I'm. There's Fred Ziesmer.
So you were before that.
There I am.
There you is.
1963.
Oh, there you are. Look at that. Gosh, you look just like you do today.
Yeah, almost.
Oh, a little bit whiter now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's on
Then
this
over
other
here
wall?
We got some pictures of activities. Just a group of the people by the pickup truck where we go to pick up stuff for our rummage sale that we have.
Okay.
And this is when we first renovated the building. And this is the meeting floor here, the way it is.
Okay.
This is when they used to sell newspapers for raise money. Bunch of them out with their outfits on.
The newspaper we just saw on the other wall.
Yep. And this is the hand vote that was taken. We were meeting at the time at the Ann Arbor YMCA. And this is the hand vote to go ahead and buy this building and make it part of Kiwanis. That's what that one is.
That's a historic moment.
That was a very historic. Dean Bolges was the president.
Yep, yep.
And this is just a couple of the, a member and a volunteer that are working at the sale here.
Uh-huh.
And then up here, you got this check, copy of a check for $11,000 that the Kiwanis Club gave to the City of Ann Arbor Fire Department. That was to build a smokehouse project to teach young children how to react in case they're in a fire.
And that's still used today a lot.
That's still used today a lot, right?
Yep,
So those are some of the things that this club has done in the past.
yep.
It used to be that we would raise like $15,000 to $20,000 a year on these projects. Now we raise close to $225,000 a year.
Wow. Wow. Things are growing. How many are in the club now?
We have about 168 in the club now. When I joined, there were 125. It was limited. We were meeting at the L&L Hotel, and space limited it to 125 people. And that limit was held for a long time. But when we got our own building and more space, then we got up as high as 185.
Wow. And it was the 1988 convention that allowed women into Kiwanis.
I don't know what year
It was 88, I was
It was a
there.
good year, whatever it was.
I was there. It was in Washington, D.C.
Running for office.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
something
yes.
like that.
Yep.
Okay, see you
Okay. Bob and Dorothy White, waiting for dinner. Stand by.
Name tags are in the box. The members come in, they get their name tag, wear their name tag. Usually if they're not wearing their name tag, they get fined 25 cents. Your name tag has your name on, first name in big letters. It also tells I've been a past president, and also that I've been on an interclub.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, and then you go to lunch.
Then we go to lunch, and over here is where the lunch is put on. buffet lunch, you go through the line, come out and sit down at the table. Hopefully you sit at a different table every week so that you don't get sitting with the same people. Okay?
Okay, and I see the podium up there with some banners that look interesting. Let's take a walk
right.
up there. Okay, yes, we're on this time, I hope.
This is the club banner, and it has some of the awards that we've received and things like that. These are the award things that we're very proud of, all down through the years. This one here was this is the Canadian flag.
Yeah, I wonder who that Canadian is.
This is a PP or a past president, right?
Yes, 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 a PP.
This
Yeah.
is a special banner here for the which
Yep.
has gone past.
And the piano, some.
And these are also things that we're proud of in the past. And there's a new one that we're just starting to fill up now. The younger people are going to be able to do.
Where are the interclub banners that you bring back from various clubs? Those are all around. Turn around, go, aha, there they are. There they are. Okay. These are all the banners from various interclubs that members have brought back. I think you've got a few Swiss ones up there, Dad.
A couple of them.
Thank you, President Pete, Kiwanians and guests. Kiwanis International, a few years ago, established the George F. Hickson Award, and it's named in honor of the first president of Kiwanis International, George Hickson. And the award allows those in the general public to award distinguished Kiwanians through a stipend of $1,000 or more. This club has an admirable record when it comes to Hickson Awards. I think most of you know that we have presented a number of them, some in memory of spouses, some in honor of children, and certainly today is no exception. This person that I'm about to introduce comes to, in my mind, to being just about as perfect as one could be. After all, in a general sense, he obtained perfection when he's compiled perfect attendance in this club since he became a member. Also, when you want a job done and you want it right, this is the right person to do it. You might say he has a perfect record. Now, best laid plans, I had some slides of this person that I was going to show today, but I guess we sold the projector on Saturday. But I thought I could just describe them to you, and I'll try to do the best I can. Okay, this first one looks like it's out at Camp Burkett, and it appears that, I imagine this is a club arcading the cabins out at Camp Burkett. And the person we're talking about today, of course, is in the forefront. Looks like that probably was taken during the summer because it seems to be, the sun seems to be shining bright. This next slide is also taken out at Camp Burkett, and this must be fall because I can see some change in the leaves. And the Kiwanians are painting the cabins at Camp Burkett, and this gentleman is in the front. This one was taken during the winter. I know that because I can see the snow all around.
Painting the cabins at Camp Burkett.
No, it's not painting the cabins. This gentleman is out there shoveling the snow at Camp Burkett. Actually, it's not Camp Burkett. It looks more to me like Switzerland. Is there anybody in the club that has been to Switzerland lately? Would you please raise your hand? The person we're going to honor is Bud Stein. Bud, you can stand up. You go back and sit down, Bud. Ceremony's over. No, of course, I'm kidding. Bud joined the club in 1952 and, as I said, has maintained perfect attendance since he became a member. Only Ron Wolf surpasses that number. He was elected as president of the club in 1963. He's co-chaired the annual sale. He has sat and chaired most committees in this organization. And he was instrumental in the purchase of this building. In fact, I think the idea to buy the building came at a meeting that was rather informal in nature at the Elks Club, right, Bud?
Yeah. Well, first one at the Elks, but the main one in Sherry Springer's house.
Very good. And Bud has a real admirable philosophy when it comes to perfect attendance. Obviously, he sets a good example. I've heard Bud say, and I quote, "You figure there are usually 4 meetings a month, and you can make up absences by participation in a project, going to another club's meeting, and attending a board meeting. So, with just 1 regular meeting to attend each month, if you can't make that, then why did you join in the first place?" And I love the old trophy, many of you remember this, that hung at Stein Gates for so many years. It was that broken paddle ball paddle that had dust accumulated on it. And underneath it, it said, "You bought it, you own it award." From the understanding merchants of Main Street. Thought I'd just pick one year that kind of stuck out amongst others, at least to me anyway, where Bud really shined, and that was 1983. If you go back to that time with me, you'll remember that Bud and Annie had a chance to see the Up With People show. This is a show that's put together by young people, and they stay in the homes of the host families. Anyway, Bud arranged for the Up With People show to come to Ann Arbor to appear at the Michigan Theater. And so on a cold winter's night, 130 young men and women from around the world performed to an almost sold-out audience. And the club raised more than $5,000 for the Michigan Theater. In fact, this project was featured in Kiwanis magazine in 1983, and it also was repeated again in 1985. This was Bud's idea, and he took it to fruition. Also that same year, Bud had an idea about why couldn't we hold a pancake brunch here at the Kiwanis building. And this would help contribute towards our building renovation project, which was going on at that time. So we had pancake brunches here at the Kiwanis Center with Bud organizing it. $3 for adults, $1.50 for children. And he arranged to get the batter from Bob Evans, the sausage it cost, and the equipment we rented. And again, it was all for the building renovation project, which, ironically enough, by the time mid-October arrived, we had raised $67,000 toward the $100,000 that we thought the building would cost to renovate. When Bud retired from work, he said, "I have yet to talk to anyone who hasn't said, 'I don't know how I had time to get to work. That's the schedule I want to get on. I might even get my crabgrass under control.'" Well, Bud, your wife Annie, and daughter Cindy have chosen to pay tribute to your great effort, not only in the business world, but in the world of Kiwanis. And you'll be pleased to know that the Hickson Award goes to the iodine deficiency disorder project. This disorder, threatening nearly 30% of the world's population, is going to be brought under control because of the efforts of Kiwanis International. So Bud, again, congratulations on your Hickson Award, and I think you deserve some applause.
Too big a head.
Right.
All right. Thank you all.
Yeah.
I would move that he be fined.
Oh. And all those that think that President Pete's in a state of confusion, say aye.
Thank you, Gary. No, I just paid. Gary mentioned that he already had paid, but he thinks I'm confused. So.
Okay. Well, we won't vote the negative part.
Thank you, Bob.
We didn't have it that day because we gave so much to Peace Neighbor Center. I'm going to pass out the Mod Pot. In the meantime, I'm going to call Dick Benedict forward. Dick, where are you? Thank you. Thank you, Doc.
Class of 1999. Now, actually, he was scheduled to be inducted the very first day that we did this back in December, if you can remember back that far. We did several others. But the person who was scheduled to do the inducting told me that, and told me this at the very last moment, that the honoree was under the weather and wasn't going to be able to make it. Now, I have a feeling, that may be true, but I have a feeling that the person who's going to do the inducting, Ben, and will be doing it today, knew that the honoree was someone who strives so hard to maintain a high profile in our club and is so terrifically immodest that he wouldn't be happy if he were inducted on the same day as several others. So he wanted to try and arrange this so that he had a day in the sun all by himself. In any event, we're going to move forward here and doing the honors. This is another first, too, because doing the honors is going to be another member of the class of 1999. I'm talking about none other than past lieutenant governor, past president, past most everything, Super Kiwanian Dale Leslie.
Bob, just so if you were curious, you don't get any respect when you get this either. I'm kidding, of course. Robert Arthur Reiff, would you please stand up? I want to make sure everybody knows who we're talking about here. Bob joined our club in 1954. That's 46 years ago, which in some cases is more than many of you are old. During his years in the club, he served as a member of the board of directors, the budget and finance committee, youth services, and when I was president, I had him as my hospitality chair, and he did an outstanding job. He and his wife, Dorothy, are longtime veterans of the Kiwanis sale. In fact, I can remember as a young child hearing them talking about working at the Kiwanis sale back when it was at the Salvation Army. I once thought it was difficult to pay tribute to someone you didn't know very well. But what I've discovered is just the opposite is true. As most of you know, Bob is my uncle. And it's very difficult to know where to begin to talk about him. Bob didn't always tell you what you wanted to hear, but gosh darn it, he usually was right. I remember him telling me one time when we planted a tree out at Dixboro, the youth group planted a tree and that was donated to us, and the tree was a small tree, and we planted it, and Bob said, well, you know, you planted it too close to the sidewalk. I thought to myself, too close to the sidewalk? It was at least 2 feet away from the sidewalk. Well, the last time I was out there, which was about 2 weeks ago, the branches of that tree cover the sidewalk. So in the end, he was right. Bob has an interesting background as far as the club is concerned. I think one of the more intriguing stories is the one that unfolded in the mid-60s when Bob was serving as president of this club. His election came about this way. There were 2 candidates that were nominated to run against each other. And the story goes that Walt Springer and Chuck Gregory, and I suppose Fred Yeager maybe was involved in that too, the old veterans of the club came up to Bob and said, you haven't been president yet, have you? Bob says, no, well, we have 2 fine candidates this year. That's all right, you're going to be nominated. So he was nominated from the floor and elected. But you know, Bob, the reason I think that they nominated you, and I'm almost convinced of this, is that they knew your leadership was going to be needed. Because it was just a year or two later that the club started to look at the purchase of a building. And who would be better qualified to offer expertise about that than Bob Reiff, who spent over 40 years at Great Lakes Federal Savings. Later on, he co-chaired, I should say, the Kiwanis District Convention when it was held here in Ann Arbor in 1973. And I can tell you there's a lot of follow-up and detail to pulling that off. Some things you might not know about Bob. He served most honorably in the Air Corps during World War II. Following D-Day in June of 1944, his fighter squadron was the second unit to complete a strafing run over France. Bob flew exactly 100 missions and earned the Distinguished Flying Cross among his many honors and tributes. You might not also know that he has a favorite car, a 1925 Buick Touring car that he has restored. It's a handsome convertible, and Lyman, where's Lyman? Lyman Bittman and I had the pleasure of riding in it a couple years ago to a past president's picnic. The only problem was on the way home it started to rain. And they don't make convertibles like they used to, thank God. So we dodged a few raindrops, and I can remember that windshield wiper is about this long. Oh, man. Anyway, it's a beautiful car, and I hope all of you will have a chance to see it. Bob, your life has been what we all learned to achieve, an outstanding record of service, both in the community and to your Kiwanis Club. I know you've been an excellent family man, and certainly you and Dorothy have a marriage that's most admirable, and your family is outstanding. But your service to your country and community in our Kiwanis Club is almost unmatched. I know you told me about William Walls, who was your mentor when you first started working at what was then Ann Arbor Federal Savings. It was up on North 4th Avenue, between Ann and Huron Streets. And you told me there were 8 employees. You said we were small, and Mr. Walls was totally dedicated to Ann Arbor and Ann Arbor people. He was really a community booster, cared for his town, and he did everything in his power to help it to advance and to prosper. Bob said, "I guess the philosophy stuck with me, has been a part of my thinking all these years. We all carried with us the belief that community and people mattered even more than when we became a much larger bank. Community and people. Those are the words for Mr. Walls, but Bob Reiff, you put them into practice. Thank you."
Everybody here. It's sort of a surprise because the people that brought me into Kiwanis and helped me through, and you might say pushed me through, most of them are gone. Walt Springer and Nick Proctor. They were dedicated friends. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
A little behind, but I had 2 people request to do happy hours today, so if we could do our happy hours, that'd be great, and then we'll get into our program. So if you could come forward.
President Emeritus Professor Glisson invited me to the Michigan men's basketball game on Sunday. It was good getting caught up with Gene, and I liked the music, but the game wasn't much. So in a fit of despair and on a whim, I stayed and watched the real Michigan basketball team thump Indiana. The women won big time. They looked really good.
Well, I'm celebrating the halo being off 2 blocks from my office, so that's off now. But I also, do you want to be a millionaire? I got a short joke for you too. It's worth at least $1, I think, payment. This couple is going to bed. There's a married couple, and the husband says, "Well, hon, would you like to make love tonight?" She says, "Well, sorry, I got a headache." And he says, "Well, don't you really want to make love?" She says, "No, I have a headache." He says, "Is that your final answer?" She says, "Yes." He says, "Can I phone a friend?"
I have a couple of happy dollars. Number one is that the place where we had dinner the other day, they really were proud to serve us. And so I put $1 in for them. And for Sally, who gave us an auto. And we really appreciate that, Sally, so I put $1 in for that. And I'd like to say that the center would like for you to send up some more cars if you have them that you don't need. Thank you.
I have no reason to put a happy dollar in for myself, but other than what's gone on today, but I put it in for my granddaughter, 18 years.
Thank you very much. And for his last of his many duties today, Dale Leslie will introduce today's program.
Take a picture of Dale.
Thank you. I kind of got surprised.
You earned it. You earned it.
Hey, Steve. Thank you. Thank you very much. Is that a good one?
But well deserved.
Right, thanks, sir.
Congratulations, man.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm going to take Dale.
I want to tell you.
I want a picture of you too.
Yeah. Okay. You and Dave from Wendy to the two real smart.
Or I can do this.
Okay, we ready?
Are we done now?
Yeah. Well, how about the 3 guys? How about the 3 guys?
Rick Kiwanis. I can do it.
They can hear that at my wedding.
Maybe you're better looking now, Dale.